hopefully. One time it rang when I was in the middle of a conversation. It was very impressive. Good evening, our dear viewers on Public Access TV and the most famous program, Education Exchange. We welcome you tonight in one of the episodes of our 23rd year on the air. And probably that's the age of our guest.
Sure, let's go with that.
As a matter of fact, it's my privilege and honor to welcome you here, Alison Demory.
Thank you.
The nutrition director of the Iowa School District.
Correct.
And it's a pleasure always to have you. We had you before. And I see in front of me a beautiful looking table that is more artistic than art. And I know that you are married to art because your husband is Mr. Demory, the famous art educator.
More famous than I.
Did he help you design this beautiful table?
No.
And why are we bringing this table? Because?
Well, I want to, I guess, showcase some of our talents and some of our meals. So I thought today we'd talk about the menu planning process. And I know there's a lot of misconceptions about school lunch, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk through what school lunch is and what it looks like. And so I brought some examples so we can see what it does look like.
It was amazing when I was researching the background of this show yesterday and last week, that I read the last data that are coming from the Department of Agriculture, the
USDA. Sure.
Yes, and I found out that there are 5 billion lunches served annually.
We contribute about 8,000 here in Iowa City.
In the United States, we contribute about 8,000 of them. That's a huge number.
It is a big number, absolutely.
Definitely. So the data shows as well that about 100,000 schools serve lunches to 30.5 million students.
Wow.
And of course, they divided into the full price or reduced price or free lunch and so forth. And again, the numbers are staggering. About 20 million of those are free lunch.
Free and reduced?
Yes.
Our district of
are
about...
free.
Or
no,
free?
Completely free.
Okay.
And about 2.2 are reduced.
Okay.
And 8.5 are full price. That's less than half of the. That means that this is a huge budget
Yes,
for the U.S.
it is.
Department of Agriculture.
Iowa City District averages about 33, 34% free and reduced. It's been the average in the past few years. So every year students have to fill out a new application. The income guidelines change yearly. And so for that reason, families have to reapply every year. The start of every school year, there's a 30-day grace period. So if your family filled out an application last year, for the first 30 days of this school year, you would have that same status. But you just need to get an application filled out in that time period, so then you reapply, so you qualify for benefits if possible.
And what's the reason of these varieties that happened annually? Is it because of the level of poverty changes?
I would imagine, yes. The income standards, the income table changes yearly. I don't know exactly how they base that level of poverty, how they reach that determination, but those guidelines do change yearly. Not always very much, but they do change yearly. And so that's one of the things that we have to teach our families, is that they have to reapply every year.
It was a little vague for me because actually in verbatim, it says the eligibility for free and reduced price meals should be implemented for families' income that's at or below 130% of the poverty line.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
tell you what the poverty line is.
Poverty level,
and I don't know what that is either,
right,
or how they determine that.
Right.
But those are the standards that they give us every year to follow. So
here, as a director of this program, I would like to ask you if a family feels that they are really in need for a reduced or free meal, and there are no data or there's no evidence, do they have to prove to you something? Do they have to, like income tax returns? What do you base on?
So
locally?
Only a small amount of applications are pulled for verification.
Okay.
It's it's a very small percentage. So in those cases, yes, families do have to provide us with documentation that substantiates the application.
Okay.
So pay stubs and that kind of stuff. The application itself is an online. We do have some paper applications, but the fastest, quickest, most accurate process is to do the online application, and that is at the district website, iowocityschools.org. Under quick links, there is a line for free and reduced meal applications. Families can go on there. It is available in multiple languages, so families can submit their application online, and they'll know within a day what the benefits notification will tell them what they are eligible for. We have great staff in the schools that also help, secretaries, student family advocates, principals, our kitchen managers, our cashiers, our leads. They all do an amazing job of working with families to get that application filled out.
And I remember last year when we had our interview, there, probably prior to our meeting, there was an episode where one of the high school had to be evacuated instantly, and you were already ready for the meals.
We still had to serve all those elementary students.
Yeah.
So in Iowa City, one of the things that I don't think people realize is that we have 20 elementary schools, but none of them have kitchens. They have serving areas in some cases, but they don't have kitchens. So the food is all produced out of, for the elementary schools, the food is produced out of three different production kitchens, which is City High, West High, and Northwest Junior High. And then both Southeast Junior High and North Central also have kitchens, but they just produce the food for themselves, for their students there. But those three big production centers make the food then that gets transported out to the 20 elementary schools.
So let us go to the
Absolutely.
menu.
So when it comes to menu planning, I think the biggest question I get asked is why we menu some of the things we do and how we come up with some of the menu items that we do. So I think it's helpful to kind of look through that process to see if that sheds some light on it. All right? So the first thing that I think we have to start with is our nutrition guidelines. So when it comes to nutrition guidelines, I have a couple of different examples there. Our lunch pattern, for example, there are 5 different components. So there's the meat, there's the grains, there's the fruits, the vegetables, and the milk. So of those 5, kids have to take 3. And starting with the 12-13 school year, they had to take a fruit or vegetable to make it a reimbursable meal. So that changed 5 years ago when I started, actually. And what we've seen happen in that 5 years is that kids are eating more fruits and vegetables. Regardless of your political affiliation and regardless of anything else, I think you can't argue with the fact that getting kids to eat more fruits and vegetables is a good thing. And it certainly has done that. So we know that our role as a district then is to make sure that we're providing good fruits and vegetable choices, because nobody wins when we throw it away. So we work hard to make sure then that we do that. One of the examples of that on the vegetables, there are 5 subgroups of vegetables. So one of them is legumes or beans, dark green, red orange, starchy, and a category they call other. So people say to me, why do you put beans on the menu every week? I put beans on the menu every week because that's one of the requirements that we have to offer. And we have worked hard to come up with some great bean choices, and kids are responding and eating those better.
And it has a very high level of proteins.
Oh, absolutely. And fiber, there's just no doubt that the intent of the guidelines, again, regardless of how you feel about why they got here, are good. As a dietitian, I just can't disagree at all with that. I think it's a good to aspire to teach kids. You know, when I grew up, your plate was mostly your entree, and now we're teaching kids that your plate should be mostly your fruits and veggies. And so it is one of those things that we can role model in the school environment, in a teaching environment. Another reason that the guidelines came into place was just to deal with the increasing obesity problem that we have with young people. And one of the things that I often hear people say is, well, school lunch isn't making them obese. And I agree, school lunch is not making them obese. But again, I think it is our role to be good role models and to help teach kids what a healthy plate should look like, what a healthy portion size should look like, eating in moderation, offering a variety of fruits and vegetables that they may not have access to at home. We also have, I've heard it said, that we have like 104 different cultures in Iowa City. So, you know, sometimes these foods are new to a lot of our students, and so we try to make sure that we are teaching alongside of serving what we offer. So, in addition to all the components, we have to make sure that our grains are whole grain rich, meaning over 50% is whole grain. We have to make sure that we have less than 10% of our calories come from saturated fats. We can't have any trans fats at all. And our sodium levels they have kind of a cycle where the sodium is going to continue to decrease up until the 2022 and 2023 school year. So we're kind of in the middle of that range right now, and the sodium is anywhere from 935 milligrams a day to a little over 1,000 milligrams a day. Our calorie range for kindergartners through 5th graders is in the 550 to 650. Now that's per meal per day, which is a lot. I mean, comparatively. So I say that because when the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act first started in the 2012-13 school year, there was a lot of negative press about kids were starving. They weren't getting enough to eat. And I think what we had to shift the focus to was eating all the things on their plate again. It was not about just eating a big entree. It's about eating your fruits and vegetables, which, you know, that fills you up because it's going to have all that fiber and all that great stuff. So those calorie levels, I think, are quite adequate to meet even an athlete's needs. So for the high schoolers, they can have up to 850 on average per lunch, which is generous, I think.
Very.
So that's one of the things that we look at. And then just making sure we have all the different components. We offer 4 kinds of milk, and I'm always surprised by how much Well, there's a lot of opinions about milk, I guess. So we offer, and what we're allowed to offer is skim white milk, skim flavored, and we offer skim chocolate and skim strawberry, and then we offer the plain 1%. We can't offer 1% in flavors. A lot of people feel like that's not a healthy option to let kids have flavored milk. My professional opinion is and has been that when you add a little bit of sugar to a nutrient-dense item like milk, it's different than sugar that you're going to get in a candy bar or a can of pop. And so I feel like for a lot of students, that's their only way they're going to drink milk, and the milk offers a lot more benefits.
It gives it flavor.
Yes, it gives them the protein, the calcium, vitamin D, lots of great things that they wouldn't get otherwise. So I think that's a trade-off worth having.
And do you have soy milk, for instance?
We do. We deal with lots of students that have allergies or intolerances, and we work closely with the school nurses and families to provide options.
Lactose intolerance.
Yes,
I mean,
correct.
Considering or given all these immigrants that are coming from certain parts of the world where lactose intolerance is just normal there.
Sure. I believe in the 5 years that I've been here, we have seen our intolerances and our allergies grow tremendously in the number of students that have issues. We do a wide range of therapeutic diets. We do low sodium, we do pureed, we even have a phenylketonuria, a PKU phenylalanine diet. So
we are lucky that we live in a country where you can find coconut milk, and you can find seriously, and you can find almond and lactated milk. It's amazing.
Yes, so we have lots of different allergens and restrictions that we work with for students as well, that we provide. I have an example of a menu on the board there that is our carbohydrate menu that we offer to our diabetic students that allows them to kind of help plan their meals for the day so they know how many carbs they're getting from the different items.
And what are the beautiful items?
Absolutely. So we have lots of different things here. One of the things that we have to think about when we write the menu is just our production and equipment limits. We have to make sure that on any given day, when you're serving 8,000 meals, you can't have everything in the oven. So we have to make sure that we produce out of different equipment. And we also, like in the center tray there, you can see that we have some of our dessert offerings. There are the two on the, I guess.
I think Mike is giving us a very good view of it.
Very good.
Yeah.
So the items that are in the plastic bags are the ones that those are only served at the secondary level because they contain peanut butter. You know, when we talked about allergies, we don't menu any peanut butter items kindergarten through 6th grade. And in junior high, we menu peanut butter sandwiches. At the high school level, we have those same peanut butter sandwiches, and then these cookie options, which there are Monster bars and Monster cookies. City High is known for their Monster bars, and West High is known for their Monster cookies, and they both do a phenomenal job, and they're delicious.
Even there's a difference.
I guess. Yeah, the students, for whatever reason, one makes a bar and one makes a cookie, and the kids are very loyal and faithful to this.
At least both of them are monsters.
Yes, they're delicious. And then the other two items there, the Rice Krispie Treat and the Cherry Oatmeal Cookie, are items that we have on our menu K-12. And we menu desserts a couple of times a week. And that, again, teaches kids, you can see the size of those aren't very big, and that teaches kids to eat in moderation, which I think is a healthy way to go. We have to deal with transportation concerns because we're satelliting that food. We have to make sure that we don't menu a lot of bulky things that won't fit in our trucks. And we have to make sure that when we're holding items, that the quality stays good. So things that tend to cool down quickly or don't hold up well in transport, things like French fries. We have to pick a special kind of, we have to make sure that we find something that will hold up well, doesn't get mushy, but also maintains more of a crisp bite. So that's one of those things.
And the salads there?
Yes, so some of these items are things that we serve primarily at our secondary schools. On the end there, we have a number of different salads, and I
think you can move safely.
I can,
Yeah.
yes. So let me show you some of these. So we have examples like a veggie chef, a chicken Caesar chef, a regular chicken chef salad. This is a ham chef. And you can see all the great veggies that we have in there, cucumbers and tomatoes and broccoli,
and a lot
cauliflower.
A lot of options. Yeah.
Yes, we have lots of options. Cranberry chicken, that's a nice seasonal option that we're menuing right now. And also at the high school, so the high school menu is a lot different than our elementary menu in that at the elementary every day, we typically have a main and an alternate. At the secondary level, they might have up to 8 different choices in their entrees. In addition to the salads and some of these wraps, these are items that we tend to serve what we call a la carte, although students can make a meal out of it. We have things like veggie wraps and a buffalo chicken wrap, just a regular spicy popcorn chicken wrap. So this is what, that's the full size, or we cut it in half to let students see what's on the inside. We do things like a fresh fruit bowl that's been very popular with our students, a parfait, which features a couple of different kinds of yogurt, some fruit, and then we make homemade granola.
That's kind of luxury.
It is. I think that one of the misconceptions is that we don't make anything from scratch, and we make a lot of things from scratch. All the baked items that you see here are made from scratch. The parfaits, all the wraps, of course, we assemble and put those together. These rolls right here are a homemade wheat roll, and they are simply delicious. We make homemade oat rolls, homemade wheat rolls from scratch, and those are on the menu fairly often.
So they work during the night?
No, they come in early, and
very early.
They do. They come in early and make those kind of. Some things they make the day ahead too when needed.
I'm just imagining, a day of blizzard and snow,
Sure.
and they get up at 4 o'clock and drive to schools. And
They don't get there that early, but they get there
Wow.
early enough to, some things we have to make the day ahead, and some things we make the day of. But we do make a lot of things from scratch, and that's one of the things that I wanted to point out. These are examples of a sub dough. So it's a proof and bake roll, and we add toppings. So we make a jalapeno and a cheddar and a seasoned one, and students have the option to go through what we call our sub deli line. So it's kind of like going to a sub shop where they get to choose the toppings that they want, the meat, the cheese, the fillings. So that's pretty nice at a high school level when you have all those choices available to you,
Options,
right? The pizza there, every year we contract with a vended pizza company, we call it, which in this case it's Pizza Hut. And some families get concerned because they say, I don't want my kids eating pizza every day. But the difference between this pizza and what you might get when you go to the store is that this pizza is, it has a whole wheat crust. It has to meet our fat and sodium guidelines. So it's not the same pizza that you would walk in off the street and purchase. And I think that's important for families to know because it isn't the same, it's a little healthier option. So we have to make sure that we hit all those nutrient guidelines. We have to make sure that it's kid-friendly, parent-pleasing, and that's why we try to do things that I always say, well, what would my kids eat? What would I look for when I go out to eat? Or if I stop at a convenience store, what catches my eye? Those are the same kind of things that kids want to eat when they come to school, especially in our high schools. So we try to menu those kind of things. This is a teriyaki noodle bowl that's been very popular. You can see it has lots of fresh veggies in there. Whole grain pasta.
This is extremely impressive
Well, thank you.
display.
Yes, I think I have to say I am very blessed to have a great staff. I have great kitchen managers, Julie Peterson at West, Erin Randalls at City, Sharon Myers is at Northwest. I have Liz Kanagi-Imhoff at North Central and Christy Madarin at Southeast, and they do a tremendous job every day to make sure that these kids have terrific food choices and a lot of food choices.
We'll give you a couple of seconds to talk
Yes.
to parents if they have any complaints,
Sure.
where to go,
Sure.
who to talk to, and so on.
So the office number is 688-1021, and they're always welcome to call if they have concerns or questions. We have a lot of information at the district website. So if you go to iowicityschools.org and you go to the Nutrition Services tab, you'll find our menus, the nutritional information, the carb menus, the meal prices, lots of great information, and that would be a good place to start for a lot of families.
But you don't get a lot of complaints, I think.
Well,
I see a lot of praise. You know, I have a kid who's in high school.
Yes.
And I see her with her friends, and they really praise the work.
well,
that you do
good. That's
there.
nice to hear.
Very
Again,
much.
I can't thank my staff enough. They do a really terrific job. They work hard every day. You know, I think when it comes to complaints, I think typically people don't call and tell you the good stuff. They call to tell you what they're unhappy about. So we hear lots of great stuff, but we also field complaints, and we realize that meals and food are a very individualized thing, and people all have an opinion about what they like and what they don't like. And so one of the things that we work hard on is to make sure that we offer that variety of food so that on any given day, students can find something they like.
So in the last minute or two,
Yeah.
can you tell us something about yourself?
Sure.
About your
Absolutely.
life, about your family?
Absolutely. So this is the start of my 5th year with the district, and it was a lot to learn. It was a big challenge to take this on, but I have really enjoyed it. I work with a great group of people, you know, the kitchen managers that I talked about, but the support that I get from my boss, Craig Hansel, and the superintendent is terrific. So I wouldn't want to work for anybody else, I don't think. They do a nice job of supporting all the things that we do. It's challenging, but it's rewarding, and I enjoy it very much. I have 3 boys. You know my husband, the art teacher.
Of course.
And I have 2 boys at UNI and an 8th grader now. So I have just one at home still.
Well, it is, as a matter of fact, I can tell you how happy we are to have you here.
Well, thank you.
And
My pleasure.
we can't wait for the next visit. To
Well,
give
you can
us
sample
more
some of
and
these
give us
before we wrap
more
up.
beautiful, appetizing
Absolutely.
selection like this. And
Absolutely.
you are doing a good work.
Well, thank you.
And you have to be credited for the good job that you're doing.
Well, thank you. I
And
appreciate
thank
that.
you, Alison, very much. This program, as you probably know, will be on Channel 18. That's
Okay.
public access TV. That's giving us all this privilege and all this facility and service. And of course, we Channel 21, that's the education channel, and we are always on YouTube.
Oh, very good.
One of the most popular.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Easy to find. Awesome.
Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this wonderful episode, I wish you a very good night. Thank you very much.